journeys that bring us closer together with an exclusive offer on a vehicle you'll adore. Mercedes-Benz Holiday Love Celebration going on now through January 2nd. Learn more, mbusa.com/special offers. He is the co-host of Throwbacks podcast, won a Heisman Trophy, a couple of national titles at USC, and now part of the Fox Sports Big Noon Kickoff. But he's joining us on behalf of Abbott, sharing more about the We Give Blood drive, and in conjunction with the Big Ten. We'll have Matt explain that coming up in a moment. Good to see you again. How do you think your career would be different, if any, if you came out now as opposed to when you did?
That's a great question. I probably wouldn't have got drafted, Dan, because I couldn't fit in the style of offenses that are played now. So it's a different world of football, and I see it at the lowest levels, from flag football, youth tackle football. I'm watching my son play high school football, who just committed to SMU in the last couple of weeks, which was pretty cool. So the game has really shifted from just from my personal style of play. I think probably I would have been okay, but you got to be able to move. You got to be able to do a lot of other things in this day and age of football, which was something that I was very limited in. Maybe I would have pitched in baseball probably.
But are the days of the drop back passer gone or kind of becoming extinct?
It's a good question. I mean, look, I'm still maybe this is just the traditional. I'm still a believer that you have to win from the pocket. You have to win from between the tackles. You have to be able to, pick up or be able to throw when you're getting blitz inside and take those hits. I don't think you can run around and just make plays. All that being said, a lot of these guys now, and obviously Mahomes is a great example, like, can do that, but they can also do more, and that was the biggest difference. I think if you're looking at today's age, you look at someone like Aaron Rodgers, who obviously is at the tail end of his career, and never was considered a statue in the pocket, but he would run when he had to, and he was a great athlete. He might be like the last of the guys that just would really prefer to stay in there and throw from the pocket, but that's how you win a lot of games. So it is interesting that position is just completely evolved and changed over the last decade, and you're seeing it played at a very, very high level. It's just different than what we're used to. There's no more under center play action. Really, Jared Goff. Jared Goff is a person that I look at and it's like he's kind of one of those like last of the Mohicans who is not going to run. He's going to make his living from the pocket, but he's got that system around him and the way they're doing it. So it's interesting the way it's evolved into what it is.
And Matthew Stafford, you could throw him in there. It's
yeah,
weird
Stafford.
How people have fallen in love with Matthew Stafford almost overnight. Like when you have these younger quarterbacks, they look up to him. C.J. Stroud and Caleb Williams are like, man, I love Matthew Stafford. What is it about Stafford? Now, he was great against the Patriots, 4 touchdown passes. But what is it about Stafford, though, that maybe is different than these maybe pocket quarterbacks?
It's such a great question, because I feel like he's maybe one of the most underrated quarterbacks that we've seen in the last 15, 20 years, at least since he's playing. Remember, he's the number 1 pick out of Georgia. Was I don't want to say stuck in Detroit, but was in Detroit for most of his career. So won games, but never really, the playoffs and all that. But the dude is one of the toughest players you ever meet. He just, I think he's one of those guys, like, he has elite arm strength. He moves, he has all of those traits. And like, I don't know. It's like, it's one of those guys that all these young kids are like, oh, we love Stafford. And I think I think it's his toughness. I think it's the longevity. I think it's all of these things. I don't think people realize, like, he took a beating in Detroit. You have some of those highlights where he's playing with like he is just one of those dudes that is like, the dude should be in the Hall of Fame. Like, I hope he's won a Super Bowl, and he's still playing. Yeah, I think so too. And he's still playing at a high level. And it's interesting because in that generation, you look at kind of like obviously Brady, and then you look at like Manning's and all of those guys, Breeze, and guys that early in my career I played with and kind of look up to, because that was what the quarterbacks looked like. Roethlisberger was a little bit of a different type of player when he was playing, but Stafford is kind of just like stood the test of time, part of that, but also part of this new generation of players. And I think he's just really, when he went to LA, he really started to gain the respect of his peers, I think, and And that's why a lot of these guys like to emulate their game after him.
If I said you could pick, you can be Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, Patty. I'd be Patty Mahomes. Give me a couple rings, Dan. Come on. You remember we lost to the Steelers in the Super Bowl, man. Santonio Holmes, or else I would have had a ring as a backup quarterback, which would have been fantastic. But you know what? I love. Were you nervous about getting in the Super Bowl? Like, if do you want to hear? Okay, so Dan, you want to hear a great story? So we're in that Super Bowl, right, which was a great one, and we score. Kurt throws a little in route, and Larry splits the safeties, right, runs for like 70 yards. We go up with a couple minutes left. Ben just marches down. He throws that incredible throw to Santonio Holmes in the back of the end zone. There was, I don't know, say 30 seconds. There was enough time for us to maybe move, and I think we needed a touchdown to win. I think on one play, Kurt got hurt his shoulder on like a sack, and there was still time left. And basically what was going to happen is if it was an incomplete pass or whatever, the clock stopped, I was going in on the last play to throw a damn Hail Mary to try to win the Super, because he couldn't throw. He banged his, I think Lamar Woodley got him or something on the outside. So I'm sitting there, I think Todd Haley was our OC at the time, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm starting to warm up. I'm about to have to throw a 55-yard bomb to win the game. Could you imagine if that would have happened and they caught a touchdown?
But you didn't get in.
I'd be going to Disneyland. Yeah, no, I didn't get in. It was incredible, though, man. That was, yeah. Go ahead.
But, no warm-up. It's not like they let you go to the bullpen. Like, you're trying to loosen up your arm. You're on the sidelines, late into the evening.
In that moment, adrenaline, I probably would have chucked it 60 yards for sure. Any other day, probably not. But that one, just going out there and to heave it, I would have got it there for sure. It was about a 55-yard throw, which I could have handled.
He's Matt Leinart, and you can see him the Fox Sports Big Noon Kickoff. You got Indiana and Ohio State. Now, Ohio State, there's been some kind of blowback on why are we always playing these noon games. Now, I understand pregame, right into the game. Does Ohio State have a legitimate beef that maybe they should play later in the afternoon or in the evening?
Well, I mean, you got to remember too that again, this is above my pay grade. I know the last couple of weeks, getting a lot of the fans have been upset essentially because it, in their eyes, gives their team an advantage. Whether it's the whiteout Penn State, which I get as a college football fan as well. Fox and the Big Noon strategy started a handful of years ago to own that window and to be the big game in the morning when we all wake up and we sit on the couch for 12 hours to watch college football. And it's been great for Fox. I think it has been overall great for fans in college football because you're getting a big Big Ten game or whatever it is in that slot. For us as Big Noon Kickoff, we go where we go in the shows and we try to promote and give a great show and give the fans what they want. So some of that is a lot of that is out of my control personally and out of our control as a show, but the games have been great. I think Gus, Joel, and Jenny on the game side do a tremendous job. They're the best in college football, in my opinion. And we just kind of do what we want. So I can understand when fans are upset and they want all day and they want the night game and all that. But it is what it is, and it's worked for us.
If I said that we were going to play backyard football, Big Noon Kickoff versus Game Day.
Why are you trying to stir the pot, Dan? Come on, those are my Listen, I would say like Game Day is the staple of college football. They've been doing it for a long, long time. Those guys over there.
We're just talking great. Flag football.
Flag football.
Yeah.
We're a lot younger than those guys. Remember, we got Mark Ingram who could still play. I just hand the ball off to him, and I'm not sure anybody over there is. If Mark would want to play tackle football, I'm sure McAfee would want to play tackle football too. He's a little crazy, but
okay. But are you starting over Brady Quinn?
You know what? I'll play receiver. That's fine. I'll let him. Actually, I got two new hips, Dan. So I don't know if I could be playing receiver. I'll probably. We'll put Brady at tight end. No one's getting in front of that train either. Hey, guess what, Dan? Real quick. I want to say this because last time I saw you, I think me and Jerry were on the show for Throwbacks.
Yeah.
We got a big big shooting competition today, basketball. We've been talking a lot of smack online. I just want to let you know we're going to be at USC later. A little 3-point shot. Who you got, man? Who you think's winning that one?
You.
Thank you.
You.
I appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you. That's
you.
all. I just wanted to. I told Jerry to turn on the show in the morning to watch, so I give him a little plug.
Explain how you got Kobe's jersey over your shoulder.
So a great question. So Kobe, my all-time favorite athlete. I met Kobe in Newport Beach. It's where he lived, and we had a mutual friend. So I met him years and years and years ago. I actually met him when I was at USC and all those things, but I really got to know him outside of that world at like barbecues down in Newport, all these things, just on a different level, and became, somewhat friends, when I saw him and all those things. And I was like, hey, would you sign this, whatever. And then that's how I got that. And then it's, obviously when he passed away, I had seen him, my oldest son plays basketball too, as well as football. And we were playing in the Made Hoops tournament, which is this circuit all around the West Coast. And Kobe was coaching his daughter and that team in the same circuit on the girls' side. And we had seen him earlier in that month of January at the Mamba Academy over down in Thousand Oaks for that weekend. It's a weekend of basketball, and then you play a couple weekends later. And I've had that jersey for years, but I'll just never forget. We were talking for probably 20 minutes. He had seen Cole. He's like, damn, Cole, you've grown. Like Cole was already like 6 feet in 7th grade or something like that. We were watching him coach his daughter and the girls team right there. And then a couple weeks later, obviously the tragedy happened. But also too, I know Vanessa fairly well, and her daughter, the youngest ones, play in our flag football leagues down in Orange County, which has been pretty awesome to have them a part of that too. So Kobe, my all-time favorite athlete. I got a chance to know him, and obviously we miss him, and everybody misses him.
Tell me what you're doing with Abbott, the We Give Blood drive in conjunction with the Big Ten.
Yeah, so this is really incredible what Abbott is doing. So they've partnered with all of the Big Ten schools basically to launch a competition to see who can donate the most blood. And the school who donates the most blood gets $1 million to advance student or health, community health. So there's a big incentive for people to go out there and not only just support your school and whatever school that may be, but also to give blood and donate. We have a severe blood shortage in this country. And millions of people impacted by that. So it's just a really cool campaign and a competition to get people out there to donate. You can go to big10.org/Abbott to pick a location. You donate blood, you upload your proof of donation, which is really important out there who are listening. And you pick your school, and it's as simple as that. And the winner will be announced for the Big Ten championship game December 7th. So Abbott's doing an incredible job with this. And again, as I said, the blood shortage is real in this country. So I encourage everybody. I'm actually giving blood this Friday up in Ohio State. We'll be out in Columbus for the game. So I'm gonna do that Friday.
Give me 60 seconds on the state of USC football.
I'm going to need about 2 hours, but in 60 seconds, we are, and I say we, obviously, because I'm a Trojan, but I'm a fan. I want to see my school do well. It's a challenging spot right now. The expectation is really high at USC. Lincoln came in 3 years ago. This is third year, and almost went to a college football playoff, right, which was a great year. We fell short in the Pac-12 championship game. And then it's sort of tailed off over the last couple of years. And we knew going into this year, the first year of the Big Ten, it's going to be a challenge. And a lot of new pieces on the team. And it hasn't been the season I think he would want, the team would want, and the USC fan base. And I would just say big picture, like he knows what he needs to do. He knows what the expectation is at USC. And I believe with NIL and believe with the talent in Southern California, that there's no excuse not to be able to build a championship team. And I think he knows that. So listen, the pulse is it's tough. There's a lot of people, a lot of fans that are frustrated, and the mantra kind of is like it's the same thing week in and week out, and then that just needs to be changed. And I'm not saying anything anybody doesn't know, but USC needs to get better. It's plain and simple. They have a chance to beat UCLA this week. They have a chance to play Notre Dame next week and maybe knock them out of the playoffs. So there's still stuff to play for and to kind of create some excitement going into next year.
The best team in college football is?
The best team, you said?
Yeah.
I'd say Oregon. I know they're number one, but the knock with them is like, I think it's still like the perception of maybe what they've been in the past, like a lot of speed, but don't have this. Like, this is not that. Like, Dan Lanning is a real dude. Like, Dan Lanning is an SEC coach. Dan Lanning has built a team like that. They can play with anybody up front, and they have the speed to play with anybody, like in Ohio State and some of these teams that have tremendous talent on the outside. And Dylan Gabriel's, he's played a lot of football and he's won a lot of games. So I think Oregon is for sure number one, but it is this year is fantastic because you have, like, honestly, like, I think you have 7 or 8 teams. Like, Ole Miss could win the national championship. Georgia, even though they've been up and down, could win. Bama can win. Texas can win. Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, for that matter, might have it. Like, you just, like, honestly, I think anybody could beat anybody right now, which is great.
He's Matt Leinart, and for more information, big10.org/Abbott. Great to talk to you. Safe travels to Columbus.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you, buddy. Today's Mercedes-Benz interview of the day brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Celebrate the journeys that bring us closer together. And make sure you take advantage of the Mercedes-Benz Holiday Love Celebration going on now through January 2nd. Learn more at mbusa.com/special offers.